Hello. Hey, I'm trying a little Facebook Live this morning. Just gonna be super quick. I actually wanted to point out a couple things I think could be helpful for my buyers out there in today's market. Also, my real estate agents who are partners with me right now, or referral partners, point out a few things that could be super helpful. One of those is the constant and ever-changing mortgage market with interest rates. If you haven't, as a buyer, if you haven't reviewed your loan approval or as a realtor with buyers, if you haven't reviewed your loan approval in the last, let's say, month, if you got a pre-approval and it's been a month ago, you should really consider having your loan officer or your borrower contact the loan officer there and make sure they go over the interest rates and how they've changed. Fortunately, they haven't gone down; they've gone up. So we want to make sure that we're still on par with our approvals and stuff like that. But thought I'd go over a share my screen here. Let's see. Share screen. I thought I'd share my screen. We'll look at the current market rates right now in the whole nation. This isn't my rates per se, the rates I offer, but these are the average rates in the market. I think it's a super good thing to know as professionals in the industry, like myself, as a loan officer, professionals like real estate agents. Super valuable to know what the actual like sort of average rates are to see where we're at, so we can talk to our clients about that. And so if we look at this. From this viewpoint here, we have a 30-year fixed mortgage. That's a 7.72%. That's a conventional loan. That's for someone typically putting 20% down with a credit. So it's getting a little higher than it was in the last month. If you look at your 15-year fix, there's not a lot of difference, but a little bit more difference on that 15 to the 30 than there has been. They've actually been a little closer. Then you have your jumbo loan pricing here at 7.75, your 5-year ARM at 7.09. So not a lot of advantage on the ARMs right now. You have the 30-year fixed FHA and then the VA. Interesting that the VA and the VA and the FHA are pretty close in numbers right there. So now what I want to do is you see these rates here. These are the average rates throughout the country from many lenders, stuff like that. For your particular interest rate, like where will I be? It has a lot to do with personal credit, loan program, has to do with terms, everything like that. How much of a down payment? What's your LTV? So there's more that goes involved. You couldn't say this is your rate, or you couldn't get a better rate, couldn't get a worse rate, stuff like that. But I wanted to show you something I think could be helpful on that side of it. So I'm going to go back over here, stop sharing this screen for a second. And I wanted to essentially say this. There's a lot of advantage right now, I believe, for our buyers to be able to get a lower interest rate than the market rate by even though it's competitive out there when buying a home, still competitive from offer standpoints. After you negotiate the price that you are wanting to buy the home and the seller's willing to sell it, let's imagine that home is worth or it's going to sell for 350,000. So you make an offer through for 350,000. Um, your realtor talks about that offer with the listing agent. They come to terms, hey, that would be a good price point. So once that's been decided, the seller's willing to sell for 350, you're willing to buy for 350. One way that we could definitely help our buyers out and also our sellers be able to sell quicker is to do a seller concession. I would suggest about a one to 1.5 point seller concession after the price has been negotiated, by adding that amount to the sales price of the home. In my experience, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of home purchases over here over the last few years, 3 to 5 years. Um, it's typically, especially now, still we're able to fit about a point to a point and a half inside the mortgage. We're able to increase the purchase price of the home by about a point to point and a half to have the seller concede or give an extra amount of money to the seller or the buyer for concessions. What this will do for you as a buyer, it will help reduce your interest rate. I've done some numbers, and really what it does. Let me share my screen again with you. I'll go share screen. How about this one? This might be hard to see if you're on a small phone, but let's let's imagine your rate was at 7.125%. And let's say for a minute on an FHA loan, just like the sheet showed on the other screen, that was a par rate, or that's a rate with no mortgage points. Well, if you were able to pick up about 1.2 points or 1.3 or 4 points, you'd be able to get your rate down to about 6.625 from 7.125. What would this do for you? This would effectually lower your payment by about $115 to $125 a month. That's a big deal for a lot of our buyers, especially those who are buying homes at 300, 350. And in this market where I am in, Greenville, South Carolina, A lot of the 300 to $350,000 homes now are actually starter homes. Unlike 3 to 5 years ago, where a starter home was about $150,000, now our $300,000 home is more of a starter home price. And as we all know, with starter homes, especially with the first-time home buyers, um, yeah, that difference in payment of $120 a month is a big deal to them, as well as 3 to 4 to $5,000 is still a big deal when it comes to resources. And so if we could build that 1.5 to 1 point into the mortgage by increasing that amount of the contract price, it'd be super helpful to be able to reduce the payment for our borrowers by a point and a half, or about 120 to $130. So that's all I'm going to say for today. I appreciate you tuning in. If you did, I think this would be a great way to do it. And I think the best way to do that is once seller and buyer have come to terms on what is a reasonable amount to buy the home for and sell the home for, I think it would be fairly simple to come to that agreement or terms, and try to negotiate into that with the listing agent, the buyer agent, understanding why they're able to do that. I think could be a really good idea. So just throw that out to you. More ways to get our buyers to buy and sell homes effectively and quickly. I'll stop sharing that now. But appreciate your time today. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.